Imagine a young actress, barely in her late teens, standing on the edge of stardom. She's sharing scenes with Tupac Shakur and Janet Jackson, holding her own with a confidence that was just unreal. Fast forward a couple of years, and she's a household name, the smart, beautiful, and beloved daughter figure in one of the decade's biggest sitcoms. Her face is on magazines, her talent is celebrated. Now, contrast that with a different image, one that would later spread across the internet like wildfire. A woman, disheveled and disoriented at a gas station, a shadow of the star she once was. Here's the crazy part. The person in both pictures is the same woman, Maia Campbell. How could the girl who had everything lose it all so spectacularly? The answer is a complex and heartbreaking story, one that involves the hidden struggles of mental health, the predatory nature of public obsession, and the enduring power of resilience. Stick around, because this story is a wild ride. To really get the depth of Maia Campbell's fall, you first have to appreciate the heights she fell from. And her story didn't start in some random casting office. It began in a family steeped in creative genius. Born in Maryland, Maia was the daughter of the celebrated author Bebe Campbell and a respected DC architect. Her mother wasn't just a novelist, she was a powerhouse, a New York Times bestseller, and a fierce advocate for mental health awareness, a detail that becomes almost tragically ironic later in the story. With that kind of foundation, it's no surprise Maia was drawn to acting. She had a natural talent and a screen presence that was impossible to ignore. After a brief time at Spelman College, she went all in on her acting career, and Hollywood welcomed her with open arms. Her debut came when she was just 16, in a role most actors only dream of, playing the cousin to Tupac's character in John Singleton's iconic 1993 film Poetic Justice, right alongside Janet Jackson. It was a small part, but it put her firmly on the map. From there, the roles just kept coming. She became a familiar face in the golden age of Black sitcoms, landing parts on a string of shows you definitely remember. She was on South Central, Thea, Moesha, and Sister Sister. She even popped up on Beverly Hills 90210, proving her appeal crossed every line. She was even the stunning love interest in Tyrese's classic Sweet Lady music video. But in 1995, she landed the role that would make her a 90s icon. She was cast as Tiffany Warren in the NBC sitcom In the House. The show, starring LL Cool J and Debbie Allen, was an instant hit. Maia played the smart, funny teenage daughter who moves in with LL Cool J's character. Her performance was a huge part of the show's success, even earning her a Young Artist Award nomination. For 5 seasons, America watched her grow up, and they fell in love with Maia. She was funny, relatable, and beautiful, the it girl everyone was rooting for. Her career looked limitless, a straight shot to superstardom. From the outside, her life was a Hollywood dream, but under the surface, the foundation was starting to crack. The end of the 90s marked a huge shift for Maia Campbell. As In the House wrapped up its final season in 1999, the steady routine that had defined her life was gone. It was around this time, in her early 20s, that the first real signs of a serious struggle started to show. In 1998, Maia was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Today, talking about mental health is way more common, but back then, the stigma was massive, especially in Hollywood where your public image is everything. For a young actress, a diagnosis like that was a terrifying secret to carry. But life kept moving. In 1998, she got married, and 2 years later, in 2000, she had a daughter, Elizabeth. The birth of her daughter should have been a happy new beginning, but for Maia, it coincided with a decision that changed everything. Feeling overwhelmed and struggling with her new reality, Maia stopped taking her medication for bipolar disorder. The fallout was fast and devastating. Without her medication, her behavior became more and more erratic. The balance she had been holding onto was just shattered. And here's where the story takes a truly heartbreaking turn. Just a year after her daughter was born, Maia lost custody of her to her father. The guilt and pain from that loss would follow her for years. On Ayanla Fix My Life, she later admitted that the pain she caused her family was a heavy weight to bear. As if that wasn't enough, another catastrophic blow hit in 2006. Her mother, Bebe Campbell, the woman who had become a national voice for mental health advocacy, tragically passed away from brain cancer. This loss was monumental. Maia didn't just lose her mom, she lost her fiercest protector and the one person who could have guided her through the maze of her own illness. Her mother had dedicated her life to destigmatizing the very condition her daughter was now secretly battling. Her death left a massive hole in her support system at the worst possible time. With her career stalled, her family fractured, and her biggest supporter gone, Maia's world began to completely unravel. The untreated bipolar disorder mixed with overwhelming grief created a perfect storm. It was in this incredibly vulnerable state that she turned to substance abuse to self-medicate, pulling her further and further from the life she once knew and setting the stage for a tragic public downfall. The years after her mother's death were a blur of Maia's private struggle soon spilled out into the open in the most brutal way imaginable. Her descent wasn't just a personal tragedy, it became a spectacle for public consumption, all thanks to the rise of camera phones and social media. In 2009, the first truly alarming video surfaced online. It showed Maia a rambling and disoriented Maia, a shocking contrast to her polished sitcom persona. The video sparked widespread concern, and her family had to release a statement confirming she was in treatment. It was the first official confirmation of just how deep her problems were. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be the last time. In 2010, she was arrested for theft and sent to a mandatory mental health facility. After her release, she voluntarily checked into a treatment center, which showed she wanted to get better, but the road to recovery is almost never a straight line. By the mid-2010s, her struggles became even more public. In 2015, she was arrested for causing a disturbance at a Waffle House in Georgia, where she was allegedly intoxicated and verbally abusive. Each arrest came with a new, unflattering mugshot that circulated online, cementing this public image of a troubled former star. The absolute lowest point, however, came in 2017. A deeply disturbing video, filmed at a gas station in Georgia, went viral. The footage showed Maia, clad in only her underwear, seemingly begging for drugs. The man filming her taunted her, his actions a horrifying example of the public's cruel fascination with her fall from grace. It was a horrifying display of a human being at their most vulnerable, exploited for clicks and shock value. Her former In the House co-star, LL Cool J, saw the video and tried to step in. He posted a heartfelt plea on social media, asking for a way to contact Maia and offering his help. His message was a beacon of compassion in a sea of judgment. Instead of pulling out your phone and filming someone who's obviously having trouble, maybe lend a helping hand, he wrote. But the situation was complicated. Other videos from that time showed Maia rejecting offers of help, a sign of how severe her illness had become. Her circle at the time reportedly declined LL Cool J's offer. This public downfall became a painful illustration of how addiction and mental illness can warp a person's reality, making it hard to accept help even when it's desperately needed. Her story became a cautionary tale about society's failure to protect its most vulnerable, often choosing to watch and record rather than reach out. For years, it seemed like Maia Campbell's story was destined to be a tragedy without a final act. The viral videos and arrests painted a grim picture that many thought was irreversible. But even in the darkest moments, the seeds of recovery were being planted. One of the biggest public attempts at an intervention came in 2012 when Maia appeared on the show Iyanla, Fix My Life. The episode was raw and painful, bringing together Maia, her daughter Elizabeth, and her ex-husband. In a heart-wrenching moment, her then 12-year-old daughter expressed how desperately she hoped her mom would get better so they could have a relationship. Maia, in turn, expressed her profound guilt, telling her, "You're the reason I'm trying to get better." The episode offered a glimmer of hope, and for a while it seemed to work. After the show, Maia reportedly stayed sober for nearly 2 years. However, the path to recovery is full of setbacks. The 2015 arrest and the infamous 2017 gas station video proved her battle was far from over. LL Cool J's public offer of help was a major turning point, not because she accepted it, but because of the conversation it started. She later explained that she rejected his help because of the misleading influences around her at the time, which just shows how complicated intervention can be. Despite these public relapses, Maia kept fighting. Her journey wasn't a straight line up, but a jagged path of progress and retreats. She spent time in and out of treatment, with her family continuing to support her. And gradually, something started to shift. the public sightings became less frequent, the viral videos stopped, and a quiet space opened up for real healing to begin. By the early 2020s, a new narrative started to emerge, one driven by Maia herself. After years of being the subject of painful speculation, she began to reclaim her own story. Recent years have marked a quiet but powerful comeback. Social media posts have shown a healthy and radiant Maia, celebrating what is now years of sobriety. When she returned to Instagram after a long break, the outpouring of love from fans was immediate and huge. One fan commented, "This is the glow of someone who fought a battle and is winning," which perfectly captured the collective joy people felt. In a follow-up video, Maia thanked her supporters with a huge smile, saying, "I'm doing great. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a reclamation." Today, Maia Campbell is not defined by her downfall, but by her resilience. Having marked significant time in sobriety, she has re-emerged with a new sense of purpose, looking healthy, happy, and at peace. Her journey from a beloved 90s it girl to a public cautionary tale, and now to an advocate in her own right, is a powerful narrative of survival. It forces us to ask some uncomfortable questions about celebrity, privacy, and our own responsibility when someone is clearly in crisis. For years, Maia Campbell was a victim of a culture that too often consumes pain as entertainment. Her story is proof that recovery is possible, even from the most public rock bottoms. While the scars of her past will always be part of her story, they no longer define her. Maia Campbell is writing her final act, one of hope, healing, and the quiet strength of a woman who fought her way back to the light. Maia's journey is also a powerful reminder of the complexities of mental health. If you or someone you know is struggling, you are not alone. Resources are available, and reaching out is a sign of strength. We'll leave links to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA, in the description. What's your take? Were you shocked by the twists and turns of her story? Drop your thoughts and messages of support in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more fascinating looks into the weird, wild world of entertainment. Thanks for watching.